separately validating username and password during Django authentication. When using the standard authentication module in Django, a failed user authentication is ambiguous. Namely, there seems to be no way of distinguishing between the following two scenarios. Username was valid, password was invalid. Username was invalid. I am thinking that I would like to display the appropriate messages to the user in these two cases, rather than a single username or password was invalid. Anyone have any experience with simple ways to do this? The crux of the matter seems to go right to the lowest level, in the Django.contrib.auth.backends.model_backend class. The authenticate method of this class, which takes the username and password as arguments, simply returns the user object, if authentication was successful, or none, if authentication failed. Given that this code is at the lowest level, lowest level that is above the database code, bypassing it seems like a lot of code is being thrown away. Is the best way simply to implement a new authentication backend and add it to the authentication_backend setting? A backend could be implemented that returns a user bool tuple, where the user object is only none if the username did not exist and the bool is only true if the password was correct. This, however, would break the contract that the backend has with the Django.contrib.auth.authenticate method, which is documented to return the user object on successful authentication and none otherwise. Maybe this is all a worry over nothing. Regardless of whether the username or password was incorrect, the user is probably going to have to head on over to the lost password page anyway, so maybe this is all academic. I just can't help feeling, though. Edit. A comment regarding the answer that I have selected. The answer I have selected is the way to implement this feature. There is another answer, below, that discusses the potential security implications of doing this, which I also considered as the nominated answer. However, the answer I have nominated explains how this feature could be implemented. The security-based answer discusses whether one should implement this feature, which is, really, a different question.
This is not a function of the backend, simply the authentication form. Just rewrite the form to display the errors you want for each field. Write a login view that uses your new form and make that the default login URL. Actually, I just saw in a recent commit of Django you can now pass a custom form to the login view, so this is even easier to accomplish. This should take about 5 minutes of effort. Everything you need is in Django.contrib.auth. To clarify, here is the current form. Add.
You really don't want to distinguish between these two cases. Otherwise, you are giving a potential hacker a clue as to whether or not a username is valid, a significant help towards gaining a fraudulent login.
This answer is not specific to Django, but this is the pseudocode I would use to accomplish this.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.